saying that my audio is strange. Okay,
You are all set.
great, thank you. And I will call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Human and Community Services Committee of the West Hartford Town Council. Today is Monday, October 16th, and calling the meeting to order at 6:02. We have with us on the meeting today, Deputy Mayor Liam Sweeney, Town Manager Rick Ledwith, and we also have Laura Ermshire and Helen Rubino Turco, and Jerida Reinheimer. So thanks everybody for joining. Moving to item 2, approval of the minutes, 2A. Looking to approve the minutes of the May 15th and June 15th meetings, and I'll just make the motion for that. Liam, you want to quickly second that motion?
Yeah, I have no objection to it.
All right, no objection. The meeting minutes are approved. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to communications.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. Just under communications, just wanted to give the committee an update on the new Elmwood Community Center, Senior Center, Teen Center, which, as you know, will be located at 100 Mayflower Street. And as you will recall, also, we did hire Tecton Architects to conduct a functional program and feasibility study for a new Elmwood Community Center last year. And late last year, the final report recommended demolishing 100 Mayflower and building a new facility entirely. So most recently, the town issued a request for qualifications for architectural services for a new center. We issued that RFQ last month. Responses are due by October 30th. And at that point, we will identify a list of firms to interview by November 10th. Ideally, we'd be talking to at least 3 firms. When we did the feasibility study, I believe, Helen and Laura, you can correct me, we interviewed, I think, 5 or 6 firms for the feasibility study. So I envision talking to at least a minimum of 3 for this process. We would look to conduct those interviews by November 10th. And then, identifying a list of interviewees by the 10th and then interviewing them by November 27th. And then we would anticipate a final selection in December. And then ideally working on the contract through the end of December and beginning the formal architectural design process in January of 24. In the meantime, I continue to work with the mayor as well as our delegation, both local and federal, to identify potential funding sources, both for the architectural process as well as the total construction of a new facility, which, if you recall, from the Tecton study, was in the neighborhood of $55 to $60 million for the new facility. So with that, through you, Madam Chair, I'd turn it back to both you and Deputy Mayor Sweeney to answer any questions that you folks may have.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Sweeney, do you have any questions?
Nope, just glad to see we're moving forward. And after the RFQ for the architect, Rick, when do we expect a general contractor RFQ?
So at that point, it would probably be early summer. Does that sound about right, Helen? In terms of at that, probably about 4 to 5 months to move through the design process. And then at that point, we would look to probably look to identify a project construction manager at that point to assist with the bidding of the actual construction.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we will move on to staff reports and item 4A for the library update.
Hey, Madam Chair, good evening, everyone. So I'm not sure if you had a chance to see my written report, but I put in a few charts about library usage and I wanted to share some data with you. I love numbers and I love data, so I hope this isn't too boring, but I think it's a really great illustration of what's happening at the library. So our staff are seeing that we're busier on a daily basis, and we've been looking at the numbers for our attendance and circulation and how they compare over the last few years. And I took a look at the first quarter, which is July through September, the first quarter of the fiscal year, from 21, 22, and 23. And our attendance is up 67% over 2 years ago. So we've seen a dramatic increase. Of course, we've been coming out of COVID and restoring services during that time. And September was our highest attendance month that we've seen since February of 2022. And our circulation is also up. So that's the checkouts of both our physical materials and our ebooks, and that is up 22% in the same time period. And I've mentioned before that we've been welcoming new neighbors from area towns due to other library closures. And Bishop's Corner has seen a lot of the new visitors, particularly from Bloomfield, and circulation there is up 39% from the first quarter of 2 years ago. So we're thrilled with all the activity at the library, and I think that leads nicely into my next topic, which is our major initiative that we kicked off last week. So I'm excited to share the launch of our community engagement portion of our strategic plan. We're calling it Looking Ahead, Share Your Voice Today to Create Your Library of Tomorrow. The plan we develop will be the library's roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years. And so for our community engagement, we have multiple ways for people to participate. We've scheduled 3 community conversations on October 25th at Bishop's Corner, October 28th at Noah Webster, and virtually through Zoom on November 2nd. We have a survey that should take just about 5 minutes to complete. And as of today, we have over 700 responses, and it went out on Wednesday. So we're getting great participation so far. And I'm really excited that at the response rate so far. And we also have comment boards up at all of our library locations, and there's one in Town Hall. So people can just leave us a note on a Post-it to say what they want to see in their library of tomorrow. All the information I'm describing is available on our website, westhartfordlibrary.org. We're collecting community input through November 4th. We're also meeting with the library board to discuss the mission, vision, and values of the library. And we have a session scheduled with library staff at our staff day later this week. So after this phase ends in November, we'll analyze all of the data and the input that we've collected. We'll write our plan, and we have the goal of having a final plan to the library board by early December. And so I would love your input on how we can better serve the community. Any suggestions you have for contacts or anything else we can do to make sure that we are hearing from the community. We had a really great event last week. Our West Hartford Reads program featured Nick Hornby. He came to town all the way from London for our event, and he started his day at the Fox 61 studio for an in-person interview with superfan Matt Scott. And at this year's event, we had podcaster and producer Julia Pistel, who interviewed Nick Hornby on his latest book, on the impact of his work and his Connecticut connection from his youth. After the interview, there was an engaging Q&A session, and Hornby stayed until the last book was signed at nearly 10 p.m. We had over 250 people in attendance, and it was really great to see how many people joined out for our program. Our children's department is always very busy, but they've been working on partnerships with other members of the community, and I wanted to highlight a few of those for you this evening. The beginning of the school year brings another opportunity for library staff to participate in school events. Our staff are there to connect with the community, share information about library resources, and sign students and families up for library cards. Recent events we attended include visit to Whiting Lane, Norfeld's family picnic, and Bugby's Reading Under the Stars. The Children's Department is building a partnership with the American School for the Deaf. Families in their Birth to 3 program joined our Storytime at Noah Webster. We're aiming for story times at Noah Webster with a sign language interpreter once a month, and we'll be assessing the program to see how we might expand on this partnership. And also we're working with Children's Reading Partners, which is part of the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, to offer reading mentors for children in kindergarten through 5th grade during the school year. Mentors and children meet weekly for 30-minute sessions at the library. Children's Reading Partners, which was formerly the Hartford Jewish Coalition for Literacy, is a program of volunteers who work to build and improve the reading skills of educationally at-risk public school students in the greater Hartford region. As I mentioned, we have staff day coming up this week. So just so everyone's aware, the library will be closed on October 19th until 2 p.m. Staff will gather together to discuss ideas for the strategic plan, hold department meetings, and engage in training and team building. And we'll open to the public at all locations from 2 to 5. And I also wanted to mention that we are recruiting a librarian 2, head of circulation services. One of our staff members is going to be retiring in a few months. So we just opened the recruitment today, and the applications are due on November 3rd. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions or give you any more information that I can.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney, any questions?
I have no questions. Just wanted to compliment the library again. Just some really great programming going on over there right now for kids, and our household have been frequently using it. And just wanted to, once again, just commend you on the great work that you're doing over there, and how innovative you guys continue to be. So
Thank you. That's great to hear.
Thank you. And I'll just add, first of all, I really enjoyed the Nick Hornby event. So, and I also appreciated the many months worth of notice that we received, because I actually had not read any of his books until I found out he was coming. And then I was able to squeeze in about a half a dozen or so between the announcement and the event last week. So that was a great event. I'm looking forward to the survey as well. And I know you and I had talked offline a little bit, Laura, about whether we could try to get that survey translated for folks into Spanish or another language. The other thing I wanted to just bring up was how we can try to reach people who do not use the library and figure out how to get them interested in using the library. Like, what are the things that they would want? So to that end, maybe to partner with the senior center and the schools to just get the survey out to a broader audience could be an idea.
Thank you. We've been starting to look at other community events in the next month that we might be able to attend to get the word out. We're making bookmarks, so it's an easy handout so people can take the information, hopefully take the survey or attend a meeting, because yes, we absolutely want to hear from non-users to see how we can make them users.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. And let us know how we can support that effort as well.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item B, and I'll turn it over to Helen.
Thank you. Good evening. I wanted to let you know that it is survey season, and the social services is also conducting doing some strategic planning, and with the help of a consultant, we've also developed a community survey. And like Laura, we really want to hear from people we serve, but also people we don't serve, about what their priorities are for what social services can do for them. And I appreciate your input as a professional, Deb, to tell us, what you think of the survey. We do intend for this information to be distributed through HANIC, which is the Hillcrest Area Neighborhood Outreach Center, through our food pantry recipients, our senior centers, through the bridge, particularly the teen center, and partnering, of course, with the library and the town's listserv. And we've identified at least 3 focus groups that we're going to meet with, and that is at HANIC, the teen center leadership, and our seniors particularly. But we're also going to hold a community listening session at Elmwood Community Center at some point in November, and we'll certainly let you know when that date approaches. And the invitation or the explanation letter also has a QR code, which and that will be available in Spanish. We are using SurveyMonkey for our questionnaire, and it does have the ability to toggle at the bottom to choose a different language. So that's helpful for our community. We do anticipate that this is going to be an online survey as opposed to a paper survey, but we are designing a paper survey that we can distribute as needed, but otherwise we'll just be using the kind of the informational letter with the QR code. We've also developed a list of stakeholders to interview. So that includes the chairs of various boards and commissions like the Senior Citizens Advisory Commission, Citizens with Disabilities Commission, our Parks and Rec Advisory Board, as well as, town leadership. So we'll be certainly reaching out to arrange for interviews by this consultant with these various stakeholder groups.
Ellen, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I
Yeah.
just have a technical question, which is if I see that Liam has dropped off, if he is not on the call, do we need to pause the meeting because we don't have a quorum? Do you know the answer to that? He's coming
There he is.
back.
He's
Never
back.
mind.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Sorry
Um,
about that.
That's okay. We were just trying to figure out if we needed to pause the meeting because we didn't have a quorum anymore. But no worries. Here you are. Sorry to interrupt you, Helen.
Okay, thank you. So just to continue, we will be reaching out to various stakeholders, including the West Hartford Bloomfield Health District, the Board of Education, town leadership, just about their perception of our priorities. So we do intend to launch this in about a week. It's ready to go, but we did want to give the library survey some time to reach its audience. So we're delighted to hear, Laura, that you've already got 700 replies, and that's fantastic. So we'll just continue to support those efforts as well. Moving on, we have posted the position of prevention coordinator. This, as you may recall, is a grant-funded position from the opioid settlement funds. We will be conducting interviews in the next week or so, and we have a nice panel of people to help us with the selection process. There's a couple of upcoming events. One is very popular. The two that I mentioned in my report are both on November 2nd, but the Morley Red Wagon food delivery scheduled on November 2nd. They usually reach Town Hall at about 10:30. It is a very popular and warm feeling opportunity because you really do feel and see community compassion in action, and that's always just a really great feeling. And also that day, later in the evening, there's a screening of a film about youth and in this digital age. So it's really about what we call screenagers. And this is a partnership with the West Hartford Prevention Partnership and the Community of Concern. So as you may know, the West Hartford Prevention Partnership is sort of the action-oriented portion of the West Hartford Prevention Council. So they've been able to jump in and do and implement a whole bunch of activities that the Prevention Council has identified as being important. And then finally, in the social services area, we have started to develop panhandling signage. As you may recall, some years ago, we organized a regional conversation about panhandling, and we invited to Town Hall representatives from various local communities that touch ours. That included, for example, Farmington, Bloomfield, Wethersfield, Hartford. And we invited them to come and talk about their experience and how they're handling panhandling in their community. And we included people from law enforcement, people from Corporation Counsel, social services, of course, and other organizations that work with either homelessness or drug abuse. And so it was a very great opportunity for us to really delve into this subject, but also just to try and collaborate about the issue, because of course it's not a town issue, it's a regional issue. And the outcome of that was really 3 areas. One was that some towns were looking at ordinances, other towns were looking for, and we focused on educating our community. And the third was really engaging with that community. So West Hartford has been very active in this area. We hired a police liaison social worker, and that social worker has done an amazing amount of outreach in our community, including to people who panhandle. And we also created a web page on our town hall website that really educates the community about panhandling. But one third item that we could include is signage. And so we have been looking at signage that has been developed regionally as well as around the country. And we hope to have some signage for you to review in the next month. Are there any questions about the social services side of my report?
I do not. Mr. Sweeney, do you have any questions?
I do not.
So thank you. Moving forward, leisure services is a very busy time right now. We're developing our capital budget, which usually is done by the end of by Thanksgiving, but we've been asked to develop it earlier due to some staffing challenges in our
Finance.
yeah, well, I was going to say purchasing, but finance department, thank you. But I do want to report on some happy news. We are moving forward with the tree canopy study. I know this is something that is being funded by ARPA, but we are now working with our AppGeo team that does our the town's website. If you go to the town's website, it's run by AppGeo, our GIS mapping, if you will. And they gave me a few different organizations to partner with. And so we're in the process of selecting that partner organization. The good news is there's a couple of groups out there who have significant experience. And what we've been trying to do is define and refine what our scope is. And we've been talking with our West Hartford different West Hartford partners, including the Garden Club, our tree canopy, our West Hartford Tree Action Group, as well as this West Hartford Sustainable Commission. So hopefully we'll have some movement and decisions made in the next month or so. And a lot of this tree canopy study, as well as some other projects that we're working on, really support the Sustainable West Hartford Commission and our sustainable CT goals. So kind of on the back burner, we're also looking at all of the markers and seeing what activities we can do that will increase our participation in the sustainable CT. I'm also pleased to report that Celebrate West Hartford has renewed with People's Bank as our $10,000 presenting sponsor. They're a wonderful sponsor, and we really appreciate their support. So they recently confirmed their renewal as our presenting sponsor. And we're also considering a new 5K route. And the reason for this is we want to have a unique run. We've been doing the same run for more than 35 years, but the interchange on Park Road has changed, and has, that whole area has been renovated, and there's a lot more activity there. So we are looking at a route that possibly doesn't go near that interchange. And so that's a job that the Celebrate West Hartford 5K committee is reviewing, and then we will work with our police department and our public works department to finalize. And in the area of capital projects, I just wanted to let you know that we are moving forward. We have hired a contractor to work on Eisenhower Pool and Pool House. And they provided 2 timelines. One was rather aggressive, and the other one was something that we chose, which is to do it in 2 parts. So they plan to do the pool house first this winter and into the spring, and then do the pool starting in August of 2024, and then completing it by June 1st of the following year. So we are really looking forward to seeing the fruits of a lot of planning there. And we're also going to zoning in the next couple of months on 3 different projects. One is the Rockledge driving range. We will seek zoning approval for that site development because it is a special use permit, because we'd be changing, adding a snack bar and possibly a bathroom. So that does change the use. As you know, we're planning to introduce some technologies that really will enhance the whole golfing experience, as well as it's a great tool for learning for people to get better at golf. The Walkett Eastern side is the last, right? It's the second to last thing that we need to do at Walkett Park. As you may remember, we renovated the western lot, and we also renovated the basketball and tennis/pickleball courts. We also changed the entire lighting infrastructure, the electrical infrastructure, and added new lights, which are more energy efficient. The baseball field also was refreshed, and there's a new kind of retaining wall along the side. And now we're working on the eastern side, which is the parking lot and the restroom building. So we will see a lot of activity there, probably starting this winter into the spring and summer, and then again next fall. So we'll do the restroom first, tear it down, build a new restroom, and then when that project is done, we'll do the parking lot. And I think the final piece, if we still have funding, will be to do some pond restoration and of the pond that is at Walkett Park, as well as refreshing the walking paths, the raised pathways that go through the Walkett Children's Forest. And I believe the town manager can explain a little bit more about a resolution that on ARPA funding. I'm not sure if that is going forward, but I do know that one was being prepared. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
And to Helen's point, Madam Chair, we discussed the ARPA funding for both the Bridge Family Center and the Girls Softball League at this morning's Finance and Administration meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney, do you have questions? Or comments?
I'm sorry, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Helen, I was thinking about the social services survey, and last week I was in town hall and there was a line of people waiting, I assume, to do their energy assistance applications out in the hallway in front of the social services department. And I was thinking that that is a population of people who are physically present in town hall with time to spare while they're waiting to complete their application, and clearly people who are in need of some assistance. So maybe we could capitalize on the fact that they're already in the building and see if they're willing to do a survey while they're around. And this is energy assistance season, as you know, and about to be open enrollment for Access Health as well. So they'll probably be setting up shop in various locations around town too. And I also did not make this comment during the earlier meeting today, but I just want to thank you and your team and you, Mr. Manager, for prioritizing the girls softball fields. I'm very, very excited that we're going to be able to put some funds into making those improvements. And that is, I'm super psyched about it, to be honest. And please keep me in the loop as this moves forward, because I'm already had like grand ideas for like a ribbon cutting and with like girls softball alumni there playing, I don't know, an alumni game. Just seems like it'd be a fun thing to do to celebrate the dugouts for the girls.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We will do that.
Sure, thank you. Any other comments on that report? Any
I'll
requests
say-
for future agenda? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Liam.
No, I was just saying all set.
Okay, good. Any requests for future agenda items? Well, if not, Mr. Sweeney, I suspect this well, maybe not. It will probably not be your last meeting on this committee. We'll probably sneak another one in there before we let you drop off of town council. So take care of that next
Ouch.
time. And
Hope I don't go out unverified.
we got to get to the blue check mark. All right. So therefore, if there are no objections, we will go ahead and adjourn at 6:32 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful night.